Welcome to the Got Trauma Podcast with your hosts, Courtney K. and Monica Newland.
Hello. We are back.
Yes, we are.
A little
I
bit
like your
different.
view much better than mine.
Yeah,
Just
a little
saying.
different atmosphere for me. It's my true atmosphere. This is where I should be at all times.
Under palm trees?
Under palm trees in the sun. Yeah.
I feel like everybody should be under palm trees in the sun. Like, wouldn't that make life so much better?
Yeah, I think it would. I think we'd all be a lot happier. Like, there is something to be said about people who live in these warm climates who are super chill. They take siestas in the afternoon. I'm like, yeah, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, no shit, eh?
Even though we don't speak the same language. I'm in Mexico and I could barely speak Spanish. So,
do you really feel like you need it though?
Not where we are. No. So we are in a little place called Akumal, which is south of Cancun and before Tulum. So it's kind of in this nice little. It's very central, but it's outside of the sort of big tourist areas.
Okay.
And it's just like the super chill little community. And we are in it's an Airbnb style place. And it's actually a Canadian family, Canadian Dutch family. But she had, cool. I know when I was talking to her, name's Dana, she's lovely, the host. She had her oldest daughter in Toronto. And so, so she's Canadian and it's very well equipped for, me with my family to be here and all the amenities, and everyone speaks English. The other gentleman who takes care of the properties from Massachusetts, I think he said. So
yeah,
it's cool. It's been easy for us to get around and all that as well, which is nice. And when we go to the grocery store, it's a little bit different because it's all in Spanish.
Is this the first time you travel with the kids like this?
So we've only been to Florida with the kids. So yeah, this is the first time. This is their third country, but we've only gone to the States. We haven't been this far removed. So we've been to Florida. Like, we started to go to Florida the last couple of years. We drove this past trip. And so, I mean, that's so, it's so easy, right? Like, we just cross the border and we're down in Florida and everything's very much the same. So this has been super easy though. It's been super easy to navigate, and this is one of the reasons why we like Mexico, and we chose Mexico to come here for the first time as a family with young kids. My kids are 2 and 4, so they're they're young. The plane rides, we're short plane rides. This one was less than 4 hours, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. I love that we didn't even introduce what we're talking about. We just jumped right into it. We're just
that's true.
Let's jump right into this. So for anybody wondering,
talking travel.
Yes, we are. I'm going to be questioning Monica about her job as a travel coach, a trauma travel coach, and get some insights on that.
It was very fitting to be in this beautiful place and do an episode about what it is that I do in one of the places that I am traveling to at the same time.
Yepers, I love it.
Yeah.
So tell me, friend. You're a well-seasoned traveler. This is your jam.
Yeah, it is my jam for sure. And it's one of the reasons. It's something that when I looking back, all these years, this is not my first attempt at trying to do something travel, in the travel industry. But I've always wanted to do something in the travel niche. And I went to school for business. So I've always tried to figure out this piece. And, I've spent the last 18 years traveling. I feel like it's been around 18 years. I was in my to date myself. Yeah, I was in my early 20s when I started traveling, and been to almost 40 countries. And when I looked at what I had been doing, where I had been traveling, I was traveling differently than what a lot of people do. People find their, things that they like. And I've never been an all-inclusive person. I've always done backpacking trips. I've done things that were volunteering abroad and that sort of thing. So of all the places that I've been to, it was the one sort of thing that I had consistent throughout all of them was it was always independent travel.
Yeah.
And so for almost all the trips. I have taken a few all-inclusive trips, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love that. And I actually have my travel agency certification as well. So I do book a lot of all-inclusives for my clients. And there's certainly a time and a
Yes,
place.
you do.
Yes. Yeah, you've been on one of my trips.
Yes, I have.
And it's so good, right? Like all-inclusives are really, really good. They definitely offer like this sense of relaxation and everything's done for you, right? And
Yeah,
that's where,
especially being coming from like being a busy, parents, right?
yeah,
And going on your own vacation, just to not have to cook a meal or think about a meal is
yeah,
such a
it's
like
true.
it's a gift. It's
It
such a
is.
gift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you guys went on your trip last year, and
Yeah.
and it is so good. And then, but like for myself, when I had looked at like what are the things that I had done, it's been a lot of independent traveling, and so I took the route of getting certified as a travel coach, which is really to help people design itineraries that are more about independent travel. So I do both. I do the travel booking, but I also do the travel coaching, which is more one-on-one working with my clients. And so I just got certified in January and finished up, I think the end of January, actually. It's only been about a month that I've been fully certified. And so I'm putting all my years of experience to good use in helping my clients and helping people understanding travel and all the positive, beautiful benefits of it, and
Yep.
all the different ways of being able to travel. There's not just one certain way of traveling. Like I said, there's like the all-inclusive resort style, but I've done like volunteer trips, I've done yoga retreats, I've done like myself, like those are the types of travels that I've been on. So I come from a lot of different like aspects that way. So
Mm-hmm.
putting all that to good use in helping people figure out, what it is that they like and what they want, and looking at travel a little bit differently.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, like the whole trauma travel coach, like how does that work? Like where does
Mm-hmm.
the trauma
So,
aspect come in?
yeah, when I decided to specialize in a type of travel coaching, so it's just like any type of coach, right? Like if you're a health coach, like you usually focus on a certain aspect of health, it doesn't really matter the type of coach. You usually have a niche. So my niche is actually trauma recovery. And again, like when I looked back at all the different types of trips I went on, I did certain things at different times in my life. And the connection I made was that I was going through something in my life that I was trying to like either understand myself, gain some clarity, gain some perspective, recover from something, like if I had gone through some like turmoil in my life. And so that was sort of the connection I made. And, obviously our podcast is called Got Trauma because we've got some shit to deal with.
Yep.
Travel has been really that connecting piece for me that's really allowed for like that healing and that growth and that recovery. Like that's where that's come from for me. That's been hugely positive for me. And so I kind of turned my mess into a message. Like I turned like what I had been through in my life, and like I finally figured out that connection was like travel was that piece for me that allowed me to really keep going and keep motivated and has given back when I've needed something, like, when I've needed a little bit more. It's been like an act of self-love really for me.
So question, this popped in my head. So with your autoimmune disease, like, do you find that being, like say the last two like Florida and then Mexico now, have you found like a difference in how you're feeling from that? Because I know like in the winter you were feeling pretty shitty.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually I just recorded a video that I was going to put out today about it, about like traveling with an autoimmune, because that was something. So like to kind of rewind a little bit, this last couple of years, I've had a lot of health issues, and the connection has or what we figured out is that I have an autoimmune. I've been diagnosed with Sjogren's. And that has been likely, although it's not conclusive, from suppressing my emotions and suppressing trauma. And it's manifested in my body in the form of an autoimmune. And so that's been fucking rough to deal with, and trying to figure out things. But again, like you have to be your biggest advocate, so I've been pushing for answers. I've been been looking at things, and one of the biggest symptoms that I have is like exhaustion and headaches. And so like the exhaustion and my stamina like takes a huge hit when I'm in a flare up for my autoimmune. And so I was really concerned about traveling and being outside of like sort of my comfort zone for a couple of weeks, because like at home, like I have everything I need, you know, my comfortable bed. I know like I have all my, you know, devices, like I have all my stuff that makes me comfortable at home. And so I was wondering how that was going to affect me coming to a totally different area, unknown, because this is the first time that we've been to this place, and what that was going to be like. And I'm thankfully, I trusted my gut, because I had been wanting to do a trip like this for the last couple of years. Luckily, it has been like a hugely positive thing for me. Like the headaches have been extremely reduced, like not even close to what I've been experiencing. Like I was having headaches, like migraine headaches, like a couple times a week, like three, 4 times a week. And that's been very consistent for the last couple of years. Here it's been a lot less. And I don't know, I'm not like a medical professional by any stretch, and I have not done my research well enough to know what the connections are, but it has been, so like that one piece, like the headaches has been like way better. And then my stamina, I don't know if it's just like the fresh air, being in nature. Like I am big, like being in the sun. Like the sun for me gives me energy. Like a lot of people don't, like they find like they get drained from the sun, and like each to their own. But for me, like I try to spend some time in the sun every single day. So I get that like seasonal depression and stuff like that in the winter. And
you've always
so
been a sun goddess though.
Oh God, always. Like, yeah, like go to the beach. I'm like, I'm down, right? Like I'm sitting there, you know, in the sun, like hopefully, you know, I got to wear my sunscreen, but like it's not going to slow me down, right? Like I want to be somewhere that's warm. And yeah, so like my energy has been fantastic, and my stamina has been fantastic. Like I'm keeping up with 2 little ones all day long in a different environment. But again, like it does come down to choosing specifically where you want to go that makes sense for like what you need. And that's where I did my research. You know, I am very much obviously in the travel scene. So like I am connected with people, and I know what's sort of out there, what types of like hotels, Airbnbs, resorts, like I know what there is available out there. And the place that we've chosen has given me exactly what I needed, which was fresh air, sun. There's lots of shade, obviously. Like it's not just, you know, like there's palm trees everywhere. Like we're in the jungle. And there's a pool, and we have our own kitchen. So like we're making our own food, which is good, especially with young kids. Like we, you know, they're picky eaters. So and it's nice to have everything that we need there. Oh yeah, they want. Actually, we can't find that here. I haven't found it.
Oh really?
So they actually haven't even been eating pasta. Like they're all like they just like snack all day long, right? And they're like there's lots of fresh fruit, all of those things that really like like these things nourish my body. Back home, it doesn't really matter where I am. Like, and there's an abundance of all of that here. So I have really been able to find a place that I'm just looking up. There's a monkey way up in the tree up there.
There's actually a monkey in the tree
over there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he's way over there. But
I love that.
Well, I'm sure he could get over here pretty fast. But I'm like,
hopefully he doesn't like all of a sudden jump on your face while you're talking.
Jump on like the little. There's like a little.
Sorry, I dropped something on the ground. I'm coming.
Hopefully not your coffee.
No, just my cell phone, but it hit the ground. It sounded like it broke, but it didn't. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So like, I was going to post a little video about that today, because that sort of struck me today, that I was like, wow, like I am feeling really good. Like my sleep is a little bit different here, because the kids are like, we're all in a new place, and the kids are like they come in and out of our bed, right, throughout the night. They do that at home too. But I don't get to sleep as soundly through the night here, but it doesn't matter. Like I'm still waking up, and I mean, for sure, like easing into my day, easing in with like, you know, we're not in the rat race like I'm back home. And I mean, like you can't get away from
Sorry, you said sleep through the night. I haven't slept through the night since my kids were born. I mean. So I'm like,
so I'm not sleeping through the night here either. No.
What is that like?
No.
Please share.
Yeah, actually the first 2 nights they did. The first 2 nights I think they came in at like 6 a.m., which was lovely. But No one's sleeping through the night consistently anywhere.
Oh,
we
mine
go.
still don't. They're 6. It's nuts.
Yeah. I did actually read something that it's like usually at 7 years old they start to stop sleeping in their parents' bed, and it has to do with like their emotional regulation, that they haven't learned to be like emotionally or physically regulated, which is why they need like self-soothing. And one of those self-soothing techniques is their parents.
Yeah.
And snuggling, and that's why they sleep really close to you, even though like you're in a king size bed.
I
They're
don't
like sharing
honestly
a pillow
mind
with
it.
you.
My
They get
husband
used
doesn't
to it.
like it, but I don't mind it. I mean, they're only little once, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah.
So it
That's
doesn't
cool.
matter where we are, they're still in our bed. But yeah, it has been good. It's been a lot better actually than I expected, and I've been able to keep up a lot better than I expected, because when we're busy at home, like it's we're structured. It's like you get up in the morning, we gotta get ready to go, everyone gets off to school, and then work starts, right? So here, I mean, we're obviously on vacation. It's a little easier to ease into our day here.
Yeah.
And it's still starting at like 9:30, but it's different, right? And I think it's what we all needed. And that's sort of part of my whole premise for my travel coaching, is sort of my mantra is like healing through travel, and about how it's not just about taking a vacation. It's about giving yourself back like that time for like to rejuvenate and to restore, and taking some time to sit like in the hammock, like sit in the hammock for a little while, like sit in the sun. Like I've been doing like some meditating, and it's not that I can't do that at home. Of course you can do it here, but when you travel, it really like just allows you to pull all those extra pieces together that you want to be doing that you don't make time for at home.
Yeah.
And give yourself back that extra little, all that good stuff that we need, right? We forget, we get busy when we're at home. And
Well, I
find
find the ocean
travel just
for me
allows
is like that.
Therapeutic. Yeah.
Yeah. Like being in it, hearing it,
Mm-hmm.
just that I just find is the one thing that will take me away from everything that is negative.
That's
There is
awesome.
not one negative thing I could even keep in my head when I'm near the ocean. Not one.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I was in this place called Yalapa, which is it's outside of Puerto Vallarta, which is in Mexico as well. And I did a yoga retreat there, and it was like a wellness retreat. And one of the she was a trauma recovery coach, and she would talk a lot about how like give the ocean your like release your emotions and let the ocean sort of take that away. And I just thought that was like so beautiful, because she said that at times like that's been difficult for her. Like she would she was crying, she would go, I mean, she lived near the ocean, so it makes it a little easier, right? But she'd be like crying into the ocean. It would like instantly start to like relieve her. And
I 100% felt like that.
So beautiful with that.
Yeah. I definitely felt like that, because I had like when we went on our trip, I had a lot of anxiety, because it was the first time I ever left all of my kids, even my oldest one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of, and because I like to catastrophize everything, or sorry, catastrophize, that's the word, catastrophize everything. I had all these horrible thoughts in my head, like I'm not going to make it home to them, or the house is going to burn down when we're gone. And that was one of the things that I would make myself do. Go to the ocean, go sit at the ocean, it would just instantly just be gone. Those things would just be taken away. I wouldn't be thinking about it anymore. And then I found when I went into the ocean, it was just like a connection. I can't even explain.
Yeah.
I just felt that connection to this place. Like it's like, I'm here to hold you. I'm here to support you. Just let it go.
That's awesome.
And I really felt that. So
really, yeah. See, that's such an awesome thing to hear, because it had never, like, I never heard anybody talk about it like that. Like people say, like, you go and you, like, the ocean's very grounding. You go and you put your feet in the water, you go and put your feet in the sand. And like, I've heard a lot about that, but it was the first time that someone had put it that way to me. And exactly to your point of like, it like sort of cradles you. You have to sort of like let go, and you release yourself into the ocean. And like, there's something so like just like therapeutic and
Yeah.
healing about that in general. And yeah, so I'm all about it. I love it. I think
Well, I
it's
mean, the
such a
ocean
beautiful
can
thing.
be extremely gentle, and it can also, I mean, I watched a lot of people eat shit on the,
Yeah.
they like walk in and they, with the best of intentions. Like I watched a woman get rolled out. She looked like what you would imagine like a live ultrasound to look like. Just like in the water, you could just see her being flipped around and then just spat back out onto the shore. I was like,
Like
oh
the
my
undertow
God.
just like makes you
I
flip
literally just
upside
watched
down.
the ocean give birth to a woman right now. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. So you guys went to Dominican Republic, and
Yeah.
so how was that sort of your first experience going to, like, quote unquote, like a third world country or like a developing country?
Well, no. The first place I ever went was actually Nassau in the Bahamas.
Okay.
And that's when we were on a Disney cruise. So it was a very like brief, you just like debarked there for the day or whatever. And then you walked around and then got back on the boat. So it wasn't really like an experience. We did see some cops take a guy down in front of a school at gunpoint. That was a little like wild, but other than that, but the Dominican was the very first time that I've ever been away from my kids, ever gone on an all-inclusive trip.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time that Dustin and I had ever done anything like that. And it was incredibly rejuvenating for us because, we've had kids for the last 7 years. It's just been, turmoil and chaos and all beautiful and great. Some things not so great. So this was really just that needed to reconnect.
Yeah, time to give back to yourselves. Yeah, reconnect.
And we totally did. It was a beautiful experience. And we met so many people from, weirdly enough, from Bracebridge.
Yeah, he said that.
Which was strange. Yeah. Like, we're like, oh, there's 2 other couples that are, from the same place we are. Yeah. And then everybody else was mostly from Ontario.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah,
we made
for
some
sure.
good
There's
connections.
Lots of Canadians. Yeah, their Canadians are traveling in the winter for sure. But
it was a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And it had a
Dominican
mountain.
Is good.
That was my biggest thing. I needed a mountain. I needed the ocean and I needed a mountain. And I had both and I was happy.
And it did. Yeah. Yeah, Dominican it's really diverse. Like there's like jungle, there's like beautiful beaches, like some of the most beautiful beaches in like the world are in Dominican. And then you can go right up the mountains, and I mean where you guys were as well, like it's a little bit more mountainous than like if you were to go to like Punta Cana or something. That's where like some of the
we were in Sosua.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like Sosua Beach wasn't as like extravagant as I thought. It was like, don't get me wrong, it was beautiful, but I actually thought the beach on the resort that we were at was even prettier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did, because it was really clean and it wasn't like super rocky. Like I found Sosua was really rocky. Like you wouldn't want to, like I guess coral. You know what I mean? Like if you slipped, it would suck. Whereas our beach was like super sandy. It was still gorgeous. I mean, the whole place is incredible. But yeah. And we did get to go up into the mountains because we went to a monkey sanctuary.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and then we got to drive a dune buggy back to the hotel, which Dustin was like, nice. This is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like,
so my question then, because one of the things I find with traveling and one of the things that like tends to happen is when you go to, that's why I asked you if you had been to like another like third world country or developing nation, like when you go to those places, so maybe when you went to the monkey reserve, like you would have seen more about what the real Dominican looks like.
Yeah, there's a lot of garbage.
Families, a lot of garbage. A lot of poverty, right? Like there's
a lot of poverty, and especially in Sosua, it's apparently it is like the sex trafficking capital of that particular area.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, Dustin Googled it. Oh, I mean, everywhere, every 5 feet. But like when we went into town the very first time, and I was very overwhelmed by this because I haven't experienced it, right? So we go into town and like everybody's offering you cocaine or crack, or there's women that have had a lot of like work done, as in like butt implants, breast implants, God knows what else implanted. Oh yeah, and
you guys went to that area?
Oh yeah, We were in the air. Best part was
Oops.
there was only one fucking bank machine, and we're all at it. Like everybody from all the different resorts and us, and also like local people. And then yeah, but
Hmm.
I mean, we could have gotten a lot of cocaine if we wanted it. Anything. They were just like,
Yeah.
so I
Well,
found that overwhelming. I was like,
I bet.
and Dustin loved it, and he's like, "This is awesome." I'm like, scared,
Well,
so
it's like
scared.
I mean, they've pegged you guys. Like, it doesn't really matter where you go. Like, they've pegged the tourist areas, right? Like, not
Oh
you
yeah,
guys specifically. They've pegged the tourist areas where they know people are there to party it up, right? So
yeah,
yeah, we try to avoid those areas usually. But
yeah.
my question for you is, like, did you reach like a level of like appreciation for what your circumstances are at home? Because when I see those types of scenarios and I see these areas that are really, or families and children who are in like this poverty situations, it reminds me of like, wow, like we have, like, people complain, right? Like, I mean, I complain about my situation, I complain about, what's going on, whatever, right? Like, nothing's perfect. So when I
Yeah.
see those scenarios, it puts me back into a different mindset, because I get that perspective of, well, things could be a lot different. Things could be really hard. And taking like trauma and mental health sort of away from it, because that's like a whole nother ball game. But just like when you see how people are living and you
Yeah.
see like the disparity between like what we have and what other people have, it's very eye opening,
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say
guess.
eye-opening. It's funny because I was sort of mixed with that. Mixed in the sense that there is a lot of poverty, and it was very sad to see. But the other part of this being when you're going up into the mountains and you're seeing these beautiful, like they have their what do you call it? Like orchards and stuff, like mango
Yeah.
orchards and all this other stuff. And there are people that are living this very simple life.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something about that was very, really drew me in. As much as there was
Yeah.
poverty, there was also this beautiful connection
And like the
to,
simplicity to their
yeah,
lives.
exactly. Like not this up and down, like every day there's some new
The
fucking thing
rat
coming at
race.
you. It's,
Yeah.
they're just living very simply, very happily, not being caught up in this world of bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's bullshit for sure, but you could just feel the difference of connection, if that makes sense. Like I could
Yeah.
just feel the difference between their connection to their life versus my connection to my life,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
There's that's a good point, because that is certainly something that I become like envious of. Um, like even being here right now, like I don't know the host of the resort that, or this like Airbnb that we're at. But like she was sitting outside reading a book in the jungle, and I'm like, and like it is, and you see, you go into town and you see people are, it's just slower. People are
Yeah.
just like moving at a slower pace. They're embracing the simplicity of life in a different way. Like that is something that I struggle with a lot. Like I'm somewhere between like I want to live in a mansion and be a millionaire, and like I could live in a van and travel across the world and never bat an
I
eye.
would
Like I'm
definitely
like,
go for the
where's
van
the balance? Where's the
down
balance?
by the
Right?
river.
Like, and I like flip flop in between these two like sort of scenarios. And I think
Yeah.
it's because like I do value that so much. Like I think like, wow, to have that simplicity and to not have a lot of stuff and to not have a huge to-do list and a million people to like to figure out all these things that you got to
Yeah.
do, like my to-do list at home is just always ongoing, and it doesn't seem to ever get reduced. And I'm sure I like, obviously people in other countries have similar problems,
Yeah.
like similar scenarios, right? But there is a lot of simplicity in life in these sort of more developing areas.
Yeah.
There comes a little bit less bullshit, it seems, when you have a lot less stuff
Well,
going on.
exactly. A lot less. You're, like I said, you connect to life differently. It's just not,
Mm-hmm.
it's about connecting to life as living it, day to day. You get
Yeah.
up, you have your, you got to take care of your animals, especially if you're homesteading and that kind of stuff. Because I think
Yeah.
If I could homestead, I mean, unfortunately, I do feel there is a part of me, because it's been so, you know, like conditioned out of me to live like that. But there is such
Mhm.
a deep part of me that is so connected to the idea of it.
Yeah.
And so, I dream about it. I envision it. I love being out in the woods.
That's cool.
I love the whole idea of like foraging, and
Yeah.
like I got my hunting license because I felt like that would be a good thing, like for Dustin. Like it's a connection for him and I.
Mhm.
You're connecting to the woods. You're really getting into that whole.
Mhm.
It's not like hunting, not just like killing animals, but the whole like hunting, because you shut down and you
Yeah.
go off instinct, right?
Yeah.
You're really honing into your surroundings,
Yeah.
and you're
And
becoming
that
one with something.
is like the essence, like that's the undertone of like what I do when I work with my clients, because it's about putting yourself into a different scenario than you've usually been in.
Yeah.
And I think travel is just like a fantastic fucking way to do it, because you're like, why not do it in a beautiful area somewhere that's like, it doesn't have to be a tropical area. Each people like, you could be in the mountains, like you said, you could be
Yeah.
like in the forest. Like I want to work with people who come from all sort of walks of life and have different interests. So I do go through those exercises with my clients to find out like, what is it that you are looking for? What type of experience are you looking for? Is it about getting back to basics?
Yep.
And a lot of the times you don't know what you want until you put yourself in those situations. So trying to find sort of an experience, a trip, whether it's like a trip in the Algonquins in Ontario, or it's, a trip to the jungle in Mexico. Like there's a lot of different
Yeah.
options, and there's a lot of different ways to sort of have an experience where you learn more about yourself, you learn more about what it is that you value, you gain that sort of clarity and that perspective, and you're able to start to shift your mindset towards working towards what you can be more in alignment with.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want
Absolutely.
to, like because of an experience, like, like you went to Dominican, you learned, you love, like that reinforced your desire for like, I do like the simple things. I do
Mm-hmm.
like, I could picture myself, foraging, and I mean, not that they're maybe
I
foraging
would
in
love to have a mango
Dominican, but
orchard. I
just
want
like
that.
that helps you with that clarity. And then
Yeah.
you can make
No, definitely.
decisions that puts yourself in more alignment with the type of life that you want to live. And that at the essence, like the pure essence of what I want to do and what I want to help my clients with is like,
It's definitely, it brings you, it humbles you, right?
it does. Yeah.
It's that humbling sort of, when you're so caught up in the noisy parts of your mind, and then all of a sudden you can just kind of come to that quiet moment, and you can really
Mm-hmm.
feel that deep gratitude and appreciation
Yeah.
to
For
be in
what
that
you love
experience. Yeah.
and what you're doing for yourself. And then like also it gives you that time for reflection on like, what is it that
Yeah.
I have already that I'm so grateful for? And how
Yeah.
can I create more of that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I found that. And it's funny because I got the bug, and
Yeah.
again, like when we've talked in past episodes and stuff, like not having my own autonomy, and now all of a sudden coming into this, like I want to be traveling, I
Self-awareness.
want to be
Mm-hmm.
doing these things, because I know it's in me to want to connect to these different parts of the world, and to
Mm-hmm.
see them and feel them and find myself in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm really feeling that that bubbling up inside me.
Yeah. That's
And
good. I love it.
it no, I do too, but it's hard because like Dustin's already well traveled, right? I mean, he's a well traveled fella. So for him, he's good going on vacations. I'm like, I want to be a fucking gypsy. Like, can we sell everything and just live in a van
Yeah.
and take our kids, and
Me
we'll
and you can do a
just
little bit of that, because I think
why don't we should definitely do
Luke
that. That would be
Luke
awesome.
had like Luke's traveled a lot too, but he's like likes his comforts and stuff too a little.
Yeah, well
Like I'm a
that's
little bit more
yeah.
like let's, how about, like my kids are running around naked in the jungle, and I'm like, I am wearing a bathing suit today, but like I would be happy to just wear like a sheet and be running
Yeah.
around in the jungle too,
You got
right?
like a
Like,
toga. You got a toga on.
yeah.
You're like a
Like, hey,
Greek goddess laying
it's
there. You're
just
like,
comfy,
hello.
comfy and
Bring
simple,
me my
right?
grapes and wine.
Yeah. Yeah, Greece is another beautiful spot. But I think like one thing that I have also recognized is that like, so just sort of bring it full circle for like why I decided to take trauma recovery as sort of my niche and my focus, is because as a trauma survivor, like, and you've already kind of alluded to this, like, we are really fucking good at traveling. Like, we are very, like, as a trauma survivor, you're probably already very resilient, and you're probably very flexible with your situation because you've had to adapt on the fly.
Yeah,
And
see, that's where
in your changing environments, like,
yeah,
well, from I mean, I'll speak for myself. Like, I have found that to be, I mean, you got to push yourself out of your comfort zone still. It is out of
exactly,
your
yeah,
comfort zone. But when you get and you start doing it, you realize, like, your instincts that you've had, that you've
yes,
developed through your
yes,
life, through these challenges, that, like, they just, like, I have goosebumps because I feel so strongly about this. Like, you have, like, an edge up, in my
yeah,
opinion. You're able to sort of assess your surroundings and make better decisions. Like, I have been able to trust my gut because I've had to in the past. That's been a used instinct.
yep,
And that has served me so well through my travel experiences. And I've been on some, like, intense travel experiences,
yes, you have,
which are not for everybody, but, like, that has supported me, and I've been able to make good decisions and have had very wonderful experiences because I was able to trust myself,
yeah,
trust my gut. I know that I can be flexible and adapt because that's a skill that I've well cultivated, as too. So
yeah,
I think trauma survivors are really, really good travelers, and I have met quite a few people along the way who have chosen to go more, like, nomadic. And so
yeah,
nomads are, like, people who spend significant time traveling. Like, that's their life. Like, they're always in a new area. Like, they're living out of a backpack or a suitcase, like that. That's what I mean. Like, I have met quite a few people who are nomads, and they have had a troubled past. And it's because, like, when you have had nobody there to help you, and you've only been able to rely on yourself, or you had to make those decisions always for yourself and your best interest, you just can keep that going. And
yep,
people who are traveling around, and they're meeting new people, and they're not afraid to get out of, like, their day to day. Like, I just met a lot of people who have had that sort of similar background,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh, well, it's not surprising that we've connected in this way, because
Yeah, well, I
you're
feel like
talking to
I'm
one.
evolving, right? Like I feel like that's evolving for me. It's just it didn't for me. It didn't happen until I was 40. But
Yeah, but you've also had kids for a long time,
yeah,
so
well, exactly.
you had other
Kids for half that
responsibilities.
time. So yeah, and I think too, like a lot of that was I never thought I would ever want to leave home. I was too afraid to leave my parents if anything happened to them.
Yeah,
But now I have that, like I feel it in me.
yeah,
That want and that desire to just go and explore the fuck out of the world and
yeah,
see new things, feel new things. And I do, like, I like what you were talking about there, about like the intuition factor, because I do believe when you take yourself out of your environment, you do open your intuitiveness up,
yeah,
because you
100%.
have to, right? You rely more on that sense versus being sort of just used to your everyday ritual,
Yeah,
sort of lifestyle. So
yeah.
it definitely does open that
So
up. And
use that shit to good use, in my opinion. It's
well,
like, use
yeah,
those
well,
skills
I
that
mean, it should
you've
be using
cultivated
it.
to good use. Like, and it can give back in just like amazing ways. And we've been talking about, so, like, doing not like an international trip, but we've been talking about, like I mentioned, going to Algonquin. So I don't know, we can, like, throw this out to the audience to, like, see what they think about it. But we've been talking about doing, like, a we have to come up with a name, but, like, some sort of, like, trauma in the wild or something like
Oh,
this,
well,
like
it would be good. It
trauma
would be good.
survival in the wild.
It would be interesting to see how that would work for us, because you're so well traveled and I'm just coming out of my little clamshell of, because I do still get anxiety
Yeah, but you can
attacks when I'm
hunt. I don't know
not.
how to fucking shoot a gun, like
Well,
so.
that's true. I mean, I don't know if I'd be putting all these survival skills to the test, per se, but it's just it's an interesting concept to travel, because it is something that I want to do. So it's interesting to, like, be with somebody who's completely out of their shell, completely in their comfort zone, and me who's just evolving in that direction and just seeing the diversity of how, you know, like it would put your coaching into perspective, right? Because you'd be like, all right, I gotta talk this crazy bitch off a ledge because she's all panicky about all this crazy stuff that she's made up in her head. None of it's happening actually, but she's made it all up. So now I gotta talk her off the ledge. So
yeah.
it would
I
be
think you would do a lot
interesting.
better than you think, because like
I
something
think so,
else
probably.
that trauma survivors tend to be good at, and there's not like we've got to like figure out some sort of like term for this, is like, you know, when you've been, or like, you know, hopefully you haven't been in this situation a lot, but say there's like a car accident and you show up, like you're there and you're not in the car accident, but like you see the car accident happen. There's the people who like spiral out of control and they freak out and they're fucking crying and screaming. Like I will like zone in and be like super, like I know what to do. I'm super calm. I'm like, this is what I need to do, and I like can take control of the situation and like handle it. And I don't know if that tends to be like a survival tactic, I think, from a trauma survivor. Like that tends to be like something that I've talked to, when I went on my yoga retreat, there was another gentleman who like was talking about it. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like when these sort of situations happen, like it doesn't, I like get really eerily calm.
Yeah. No, I do too. I actually, the more I'm in my head, the worse it is for me. The outside world doesn't,
like if it
doesn't
happens
set
to like
me off.
Like my husband or my kids, if it's my kids, like I like, you know, if my kids get hurt, like I like, you know,
well, I definitely
start to throw up. Like I get so
no, I'm
I'm
the same like that too. And I think that's
apart
just
from our family and our children.
that's just the lack of control. But yeah, like being in a chaotic situation, like the other day when we were on our way back from Owen Sound after Maddie's testing, fucking a plane crashed in the field as we were driving home. And
really?
yeah,
You're like, should I help? Like, you
well,
know,
Dustin's like, holy
I feel like
shit,
I
I
can
think
handle
that
this.
plane just crashed. And I was like, oh, I'm like, well, he's walking around, so I guess he's okay. Like, he got out of his plane. It was just like one of those little crop planes. And there was another guy that had already watched him come down and jump across the road and was over there. And like, we sat there for 5 minutes just making sure, because it looked like it was smoking pretty good. So we weren't sure if it was on fire or what. So we waited for about 5 minutes and then we saw the police coming. So we were like, okay, they're good. Yeah. They've clearly taken care of it. But
but you found yourself being like very calm, given
I wasn't freaking, I didn't feel like freaked out or anything. I'm just kind of like, oh fuck, that's wild. Like, hope buddy's okay. And he was. So that, I mean, I didn't have a feeling of impending doom by any means. So that's good.
Yeah, that's good. But that's like what I mean about how, like, I think that people who have been through some serious shit in their life can handle those situations better than most people. Yeah. Because we were able, I don't know, and again, I'm going to speak from my own situation. I'm able to like think quick and sort through the shit in my head fast to make a move. And that has served me well through my travels, because I've been able to like maybe avoid areas like you went to and been like, okay, you know, or you know, I've just been able to make, you know, safe decisions, I guess. And that served me well. So I mean, that's just, you know, that's just like something that I have noticed. Yeah. That again, like sort of another connection I've made, that because I think there is a lot of people who have had a lot of trauma in their life, and they think very much like you did going into it, that I don't think I can handle this because I am barely, you know, holding on right now. Like I feel like I am in control right now. I'm doing the very best that I could. I can't imagine like adding more to my plate. I can't imagine like putting myself in a totally new situation. And there is certainly time and a place for it. It's not like, you know, I'm not saying that it's going to solve your problems, but I think that if you can get to a point where you're looking for some clarity and you're looking for some answers and you're looking for that introspective, like personal growth, I think travel is by far the quickest, the easiest, and I would argue it's very cost effective because I know how much I've spent on you know, therapy and that sort of thing, and that's not cheap. And you know,
it is not
when you can be, you know, $500 for the week in the jungle, like it's, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You get a big bang for your buck.
No, it's so true. It's like I mean for me, I definitely felt, like I said, I came back feeling very different about how I felt about traveling to begin with, and I felt very differently about, my whole outlook on things and what I perceived I could handle versus, like
Yeah.
I was able more to do the whole live in the moment thing, because when I would start to get things would get elevated and I'd be like, oh, here comes the thought train full of fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, all right, you're in the moment right now. We're in the ocean. This isn't here. This is not here nor there. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
it just was easier to come back to that
Pull
perspective
yourself out. Yeah.
and to continuously do that. Even though, it kind of pisses you off that you have to do that. It's just the way it is, right? Healing is healing. Yeah. And no matter, it's not a quick gonna happen overnight. And I have a really hard time accepting that. So, I get really impatient with myself, especially when you're like, I'm in this beautiful place. I should feel like $1 million. And I mean, you do for the most part, but there are times where you don't. And you're like, fuck, I'm wrecking this experience. But really, you're not. You're just experiencing something brand new and trying to incorporate it as a different evolving person, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would 100% agree. And I think that when, like we set a lot of expectations on ourselves, doesn't matter where we are, what we're doing, like we have high expectations, and you should have high expectations. You should have high expectations of yourself and not others.
yeah.
But when you're in those moments and you're like, oh, like I'm here, like everything should be blissful, and it's like it's not going to be pure bliss. But what happens when you come back? Like, so say like you've had a great experience, like your week away was wonderful, and you're like, yeah, 100%, I'm ready to do that again. Like, oftentimes you don't realize how beautiful and impactful it was until you get back home. Because when you're in it, like you're just trying to take it all in. You're trying to live in the moment as much as possible. And it's a lot easier to do when you've been, when you're in a different climate, a different environment. It's a little bit easier to like live in the moment. And that's something I'm always trying to work on. It's like my biggest thing that I'm working on.
Me too.
Yeah, is like be here now. Like, like be in the moment, because that's how you're going to get the most enjoyment. I've always had to be very futuristic thinking and like preparing to death. And it's like, crushes your soul after so many years of doing it.
Well, I mean, preparation makes sense. In most cases, the problem is we just apply it to everything, right? We apply it to every single thing we're doing. And then we live in this heightened state of,
and then that's where the catastrophizing
anxiety
comes in too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You live in anxiety. So I think like, when you return home after a trip, you are able to, and I do a whole piece on like your post trip like integration and how you can take the principles of what you've learned during your time. Like, so I do like a little bit of pre-trip while you're there, and then post-trip. And the post-trip is really about taking the things that you really like, you knew that you could do before you went on the trip, or you knew that this was possible, but then you actually did it. And then like, how do you bring those sort of skills or those new like things that you've learned home with you and integrate it back into your life? So there is a whole piece that I do with my clients around that as well, where it's like keeping that momentum going. But I mean, I think that like taking a trip and giving you that exposure is just such a beautiful way to sort of speed things up. So like when I said about like, I think travel is extremely healing, and that being able to, even if it is just a week or 2 weeks or 10 days or something like that, it could be longer. But that there is so much that you can accomplish in that time because you're able to focus more.
Yeah. It's almost like putting polysporin on something. It'll heal a little bit quicker versus just letting the air get to it, right?
Yeah.
Just sort of adding just a little bit of something to just sort of keep the infection out, let's say.
Yeah. And like I've done some of like the most important like personal growth that I've ever done, like through my trips. And could you? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I love that.
And with what I'm here with my kids, but like I have been able to still still do this even though I have other stuff on the go. Like I'm not just like sitting in meditation for 2 weeks. Although I would fucking love to do that. And there is ways to do that. And there are, like yoga and meditation retreats that are beautifully designed for people who want to go in that direction. Again, it's picking that sort of what is it that you're looking for. But it just allows you to have a little bit more of that focus. And I think it really does speed up like the healing and the growth. Just speeds it all up for me.
Yeah. No, I can definitely attest to that for sure.
But but sorry, I'm going to circle back to trauma in the wild. Like, what does everybody think about that? Like, should us too, like, pack a backpack and go into the...
Yeah, would you guys watch that episode? We'd have to get GoPros. We're just like, Monica and I go into the bush with a tent. 2 girls, 1 tent, and a whole bunch of trauma.
Yeah. Literally, right? I'm already intimidated.
Should we maybe think about taking like some peyote, or is it peyote?
Peyote?
Ayahuasca?
No, people don't do peyote anymore. They do ayahuasca. Yeah. I've heard that that's really good. Although I don't think we both do it at the same time.
Oh my god, could you imagine? We're just like,
or somebody's there with us who
it'd be like the fucking Blair Witch Project, but even worse.
Yeah. Maybe some mushrooms, but
fuck, it'd be funny though.
Maybe I think I would just like to be able to survive like a few nights in the wild. And like I've always wondered, because I do like those like doomsday prepping shows and shit like that. Like I watch that stuff. Like I love the whole, learn how
I do
to
too. I love the survival.
I guess that's like part of like our preparedness that we were talking about is getting into all that. That's pretty in-depth stuff, like doing the whole doomsday prepping thing. But anyways, I've learned some shit through those Netflix series, and
I definitely have too. I am not 100% confident in the skills that I may have evolved from watching these shows, but I definitely maybe
we could bring somebody with us.
Maybe we just start in the backyard. Should we just start in my backyard, and then we could just we'd be like, okay, we survived 2 days back here. Now maybe we can go further out of civilization. We know that we didn't die back there, so we're okay.
Yeah, because you have bears and stuff where you are, don't you?
We have a coyote den that's just adjacent to the back of the house.
Coyotes don't bother me. Coyotes.
No, they don't bother me either. But that's, I think I haven't really seen a bear here. Just coyotes.
Okay.
I mean, they'll eat my dog if I let it out, and that would be my fault, not theirs or the dogs.
We are too. Yeah.
But
we were thinking go into the wild for a few days and reconnect with ourselves in just a pretty chill environment.
I think we should drive out west. That's what I think we should do, and then camp along the way.
Western Canada,
and then we just camp the whole time.
We can camp in my trailer, but it's not survival.
No, I think we gotta rough it. I think we'd have to find campsites and tent it, and bring all the amenities. Like bear spray.
Bring the supplies. Yeah. Anyways, we were tossing around that idea, and
I think we
might just do that as 2 friends anyways, but maybe we'll make it an episode and see what people think, and put a little bit of what I'm talking about into practice to record.
Absolutely.
And then she can also teach me how to I don't know.
You can coach me in traveling so that I can get the most out of my experience, and I can hunt and forage for us.
You know what kind of mushrooms and berries to eat? Because
I have a book, but I don't know if I would trust those skills either. They're pretty.
It's okay. We'll have our.
They're pretty novice too.
Yeah, but we thought that would be kind of fun, and we do have some other stuff in the works too, and
we
do. I love that we made this episode a bit about what my sort of passion is, so I appreciate that. And this is a new venture for me. This is my new on top of the podcast, this is my new business that I just launched literally in the last 2 weeks. So I am looking for clients for sure. If anyone is looking to travel and looking to have an experience and not sure how to put that together, and I am here for all the questions. But we do have a couple other things in the works. We have some guests that are looking to come on, and who are from different backgrounds, and they're going to share their expertise and their journeys, I guess, as well.
Yep.
which we're looking forward to.
Yes, we
We
are.
also have the trauma tales that we
That's
just
starting
started
to
talking
evolve.
about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do our lives once a month too. So
Yeah, and then we're going to be going live once a month because we found that to be super fun for us. Hopefully everyone else enjoyed that too. We got to connect with not only our audience, but a few new people as well, which was super cool. And
it's good to do a reintroduction like that, just so that, because you just everything kind of gets stagnant. Even when you're putting out a bunch of videos and stuff, it's just nice to kind of be like, hi.
Yeah, we're here.
This is who we are.
People who are actually not just recorded. We're live and approachable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, I hope that we will discuss more about this in future episodes. And now that I'm sort of like in this wheelhouse, and I'll start to share a little bit more about my perspective on that as I'm learning and as I'm going and as I'm working with people. But yeah, I think you should come to Mexico next time.
I would love to go to Mexico.
Do this.
I mean, it looks beautiful. I wish I was there now.
Good. Yeah,
even though it was 21 degrees the other day when we were in Owen Sound. I was like,
go figure. We leave Canada and then it's 21 degrees in March.
I couldn't believe it. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's quite warm for us in the spring.
Well, it was only the
30 degrees here.
4th. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Not complaining. Can stay like that all the time.
Yeah, spring is coming and summer is going to be here. And that's perfect for me, so I can just chase the sun.
Yes, I like it. I like it.
Anything else that we want to...
I think that was it. Unless you want me to do a listen bitch affirmation card for anybody who needs a little boost.
I like it. Yeah, let's
so my friend Leslie got me these for my birthday. And they're these awesome little affirmation cards. So it's
affirmations are awesome. So I don't know if people don't know what affirmations are, it's like basically a way to you're telling yourself something positive, and it's sort of like a phrase usually,
reinforcing your power of self love, I guess. Yeah.
And repeating it to yourself and how empowering it can be. So this one's called, what's it called?
This one's called Listen Bitch. And it says affirmation cards to remind you who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
These are great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it says here, listen, bitch, sometimes even the strongest people need uplifting. Use these 50 affirmation cards to remind you that you are capable and you are worth all the love you fucking deserve. Read them slowly, repeat them out loud, and then carry on like the legend you are. I love this already. So first card.
You're all about this.
Oh my God. Listen, bitch, if you can't find a way, carve your own fucking path.
Love it. Yeah.
I'll read these on the next episodes. We'll just do a card pull.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love it.
It's funny. So true, right? Yeah. A lot of this healing journey is, it's all individual, and it's all up to you to figure out what this looks like and how to put it together. And it is work, but it's such a wonderful, growing, learning, gratifying experience.
Well, so, I feel like that's what we're meant to do on this planet. Learn.
Yeah.
Learn all the things, learn out of all the old, learn into the new, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Love that. All right. Let's wrap up there. Thank you, everybody, as always, for listening and for all the love and support.
Yes,
we do
stay
have
tuned.
A private Facebook community if anybody's interesting, where we do a little bit more connection with our audience, and people get to share a little bit about what they're going through in a supportive and positive, respectful manner. So if anyone wants to join that, it's just a podcast. The Facebook group is podcast, Got Trauma Podcast Community. If anyone wants to join, we'd love to have you. And we will see you all in the next episode.
See you at the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit those subscribe and share buttons. We'll see you at the next one.